Welcome back to Books with Duddy. We are back with another thriller that I am going to do a spoiler-free review on, and that book is called First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. Depending on when you're seeing this video, I'll also have a video out where I go into the spoilers, the twists, the ending, and all of that stuff a little bit more in depth. But for now, let's get into the spoiler-free review. So, First Lie Wins is about a girl named Evie Porter. That's not her real name. And she is basically a con artist. She works for a mysterious person or organization, and she is put into different situations and given instructions on information to get and things like that. Her latest job is a little bit different. She has become basically a southern housewife. They're not married, but she's got a boyfriend, and he is the mark. And Evie starts to fall for the mark, Ryan. And of course, when falling for a mark, that is going to complicate the job. And that's not something Evie can really afford based on how her last job ended. So I had very mixed feelings about this book. I loved the idea of the story. I thought it was very interesting. And one of the things that I really liked about the book, I probably say this a lot, is I like short chapters, but the book just flies by because there is not a lot of downtime in this book. The story's almost always advancing, and I liked that for the most part, although I do think that kind of leads into one kind of issue I had with the book that I'll discuss later. Another thing I really liked about the book was Evie, the main character. So many times main characters, in my opinion, aren't very nuanced. You know, they're either so good and, are kind of perfect, or depending on the book, really evil and bad. But Evie was a really nuanced character. I didn't agree with everything she did, but at the same time, with her inner monologue the way it was, I understand why she was doing things that she was doing, but she's a very morally gray character, and I liked that. Another thing I liked was the rest of the characters were really interesting, and I like this, but it'll also be a little bit of a con later that I'll talk about. But the other characters were really interesting, from Evie's boss, who kind of gives her instructions, to Ryan, her boyfriend, to Ryan's friends in this small town. They're all really interesting characters, and that'll take me into one of my cons, actually, for the book, is that, and this ties back into how I said it was kind of nonstop go, is there wasn't a lot of, while Evie was really nuanced, we didn't learn a ton about the other characters, and I would have liked to have known more about what Ryan's motivations were. And I would have liked to have known kind of more what Ryan's thought process was, and some of Ryan's friends, what their thought processes were, and Evie's boss, and just some of the other side characters I think could have been fleshed out a little bit more. Now, with this book, it is a thriller, so you can expect some twists. I'd say one downside to the book is that if you're familiar with the genre, while there are twists, it's really nothing groundbreaking. I found it to be pretty predictable. There was nothing that really, really shocked me. And I actually have to go back I had one more pro that's also going to lead into another con, is there was a constant source of tension throughout the book, and it was a tension that something was building to, a spectacular climax. And that kept you reading and reading and reading because you could just feel that building and building. So that was awesome. The problem then is that I thought the climax was extremely underwhelming. Just for how the rest of the book was so tension filled, the climax was, I think, abrupt and just very underwhelming. I had a lot of questions still that I would have liked answered. Not that there were necessarily plot holes, but things that I think could have been explained a little bit more. So that was disappointing. The end was disappointing for me. And, that kind of sours the book a little bit. So on to my rating. I am going to give this book a 4.8 out of 10. You'll see my rating scale up there. So just a slightly below average book in my opinion, that's really hampered by the ending. If you're not someone who has to have a great ending to leave with a good taste in your mouth, I could see somebody rating this a lot higher. But for me, the ending just kind of soured the entire book because it was just so underwhelming for myself. Nonetheless, it was a fun read, and I'm not upset I read it. So, if you're into thrillers, give it a shot and let me know what you think in the comments. If you've made it this far, I very much appreciate it. If you could like and subscribe, I would very much appreciate that. And I hope to see you soon.